What's up everybody? It's RJ with Twin Halos. And today I want to talk about a client that had a concern with her 13-year-old son who's a swimmer and him getting into weight training. The two concerns were injury and possibly stunting his growth. So once I started researching this, there were some patterns with teens getting injured and specifically injuring their growth plates. Now the injuries came from maximal loads, improper technique, and lastly, the third thing that should alleviate the first two is poor supervision. Whether that's a coach, a parent, a trainer, anything like this, they just had poor coaching. That was the issue. Now, I couldn't find anything that showed, that actually validated that it stunts people's growth. My theory on it is you have to focus on recovery just as much as the weight training. That way you give the body room to grow, you give the joints room to recover. So as a massage therapist or personal trainer, that's my focus on every athlete that I train. So an analogy that I used is a backpack, and the backpack is external resistance just like a dumbbell. So as an example, you put on the backpack and subconsciously your shoulders start to come forward because the backpack is pulling you this way. Similar to the military when you're wearing a rucksack. It's pulling backwards, but you're fighting it by pulling your shoulders forward. So as that happens, if the backpack is low, especially with 13-year-olds and like myself, I was trying to be cool and sag my backpack, that starts to pull your body forward. So now your shoulders are forward, now you're hunched over like this. This is gonna create really poor patterns, but that's a way of saying that's external resistance with bad technique. So you're gonna create this position, you're gonna create this posture with the backpack, then you go to sit all day at school, and then you go swim because he's a swimmer, and it's just so much over dominant in the pecs, and there's just a weak back, and there's no balance between the front and the back. So one of his issues right now was to grab the seat belt and pull it across his body. When he went to go pull it, he said he couldn't do that because his body has now started to conform this way. He's only 13, so we got to alleviate this. This is my mentality as a massage therapist and personal trainer. I've got to alleviate this first. That way I could create better contraction in the back. If I'm gonna try and create more scapular stability, his shoulder blade, if I'm going to do that, I need to actually get the quality contraction. So I need to open up some of these tight areas before we start training. That's the purpose behind the way that I train. So that's what the analogy that I gave them. And so my programming involves soft tissue work and resistance training because I've also had, as young as 10 years old, a soccer player, they had ankle issues. That's due to tight calves because there's no focus on recovery. That's the whole point of this video is resistance training is not going to stunt their growth. It's the lack of recovery that gives the body room to heal and grow. That's the issue. Now, this is a theory. There's no research that I found saying that massage helps people grow. This is my theory, and this is how I help people alleviate pain. But with kids that are constantly growing, you've got to give the body room to grow. This, again, this is my opinion. This is how I approach this type of stuff. So I would focus just as much on recovery and soft tissue work as I would resistance training. So if you have a kid and you're worried about him actually doing weight training, I would be more concerned on how are you going to recover from that. Resistance training, you've got to start building motor patterns. So what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna program for this kid is going to be body weight training and resistance band training, and that's it for the first few weeks, depending on how well he progresses. This is to create good habits, good motor control, good motor patterns, before you start adding weight. I've got to create better motor patterns first before I start adding weight. That way, when I add weight, he's got the same motor pattern. It's just more difficult to achieve just because we've added more resistance. So you've got to create a good foundation for him to fall back on and then add the weight progressively and do not max out. In my opinion, he's 13. I would never put him under maximal load or 1 rep max. I would not do that. So that's my opinion. I hope you found this video helpful. I don't think I have any more notes on this. Nope, that was it. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps this channel out immensely. Had a lot of coffee this morning. So if you have concerns, please leave them in the comments below. If you got questions, comments, concerns, in the comments. So that's it for me. I'm RJ with Twin Halos, and I will see you guys in the next video.